back to Project Seawolf. Back up on the boat. Drove 17 hours with 2 toddlers overnight, so they slept through most of it from California to be up here for a few weeks. The goal for this trip and over the next few episodes is going to be tearing up everything on deck, filling the holes and resealing everything and putting it back on before winter. I miss the clouds. It's always sunny in Central California. It's just kind of boring. So the variety is nice. Being able to see the ocean's even nicer. So I think the way I'm gonna go about this is I'm gonna take the stanchions off the lifelines. And I'm gonna work bow to stern, which is generally a good practice, both interior and exterior work. And I'm gonna start on the port side because tomorrow I'm gonna have my father-in-law come by with the pickup truck and pick up the boom because it doesn't need to be on here. And I'd rather it be at home than sitting on top here unsecured. And it's just in the way, so. And that'll leave the rest of the boat to do work on unimpeded. Removing the lifelines is gonna be a little bit easier than the next time, I think, because they're so rusted out. I'm gonna just remove them completely, so I'm gonna cut them here, and that'll string them back through the stanchions and get them off the boat. But I'll keep the length so that I know how long I need the next lifelines to be, whether I go Dyneema or wire again. There's pros and cons to both, for sure, but yeah, these are all rusted out. Alright, you can kind of see the anatomy of the stanchion post. So there is a channel right here that allows water to flow out if any flows into the pipe, unless you have these wacky holes that copper pipe was sticking out of. I don't know what that copper pipe was for, but apparently water. So that's interesting. The old stanchion posts looks like they had a series of 3 bolts right here, and they didn't bother to seal those up before they put the new one on. They just put sealant all over everything and just stuck these new ones on. So that's going to change. Yeah, these are going to get actually all this is going to get filled, resealed, and inspected. I'm just going to make sure these top screws didn't go through any of the coring, and if it did, I need to inspect that coring because I bet it'd be rotted out. But it doesn't look like it did. It looks pretty thin in there, and it looks like they actually did use quite a bit of sealant to prevent any coring issues. So yeah, I'll just use some thickened epoxy and put that in there, and then I'll clean these up and probably put them back on if everything looks good. Oh my gosh. That took way longer than it should have. I did not expect to spend most of my night working on one stanchion. Something happened with those bolts and they would not go through the backing plate. I think it was stainless on aluminum, because otherwise I wouldn't have spent hours or an hour cutting through those bolts. So I think those were stainless and the backing plate was aluminum. So that's gonna change as well. They would not hammer through the other end, they just broke. So things are gonna change. Oy. Well, I think this stanchion also has the same kind of issue. I took a look at the backing plate, it's pretty corroded. So much like the rest of the boat, it's a lot of stainless on aluminum, pretty corroded and fused and seized together on top of the heavy duty sealant. So these bolts weren't going anywhere, and the bolts on here seem to have the same. So it's going to be a very long process. We'll be back in the morning, and I'm gonna get some rest, and we'll get the rest of the stanchions done tomorrow. I'm gonna cuss myself out for saying that, but it needs to happen. And these backing plates need to be replaced with stainless, and these bolts need to be replaced with not flathead stainless bolts with the appropriate length. So let's get some rest. Good morning. So, to relax a little bit before I attack the stanchions again, I decided to go on a little twitching trip just down the road. I'm at what the locals call the Everett ponds, and it's a sewage treatment plant, and rare birds somehow find their way there and just stick around for a few days. And for the past 4 days, there's been a gull that I don't have, a Franklin's gull, which occurs in interior, like the Great Lakes. And so it's an inland gull, and I have not seen one before in my life. But for the past 4 days, people have been reporting it and posting pictures online, so I'm going for it. Fingers crossed, it's still here. Now, in the reports for this gull, it said it was at the south end of the aeration ponds. So I guess you get to know a little bit about... Oh my gosh, there's like 5 snakes there. Whoa. Good sized ones too. There are a lot of giant grasshoppers here. But here we are at the aeration ponds. And I do see some gulls out there, so hopefully that one of them is our mark. Still looking for our mark, but I can see some very similar gulls, namely Bonaparte's gulls, which the Franklin's gull has been known to be socializing around, so I have a feeling I'm not too far off. I noticed a gull flying pretty erratically, like most of the time you see a gull, it's flying like that, just kind of cruising along. But this was a little gull, and it was flying really just swooping over the water and doing tight turns with a big fantail. I looked at the picture, and sure enough, it's a Franklin's gull with the white eye ring. Oh my goodness. That's really exciting. It makes me very happy. There have been so many road trips I've done just to try and see this bird, just for like a chance, and turns out 20 minutes away from home, near the boat, here it is. Amazing. Yeah, there it is. There it is again. So it's doing some swoops over the trees right now, just crossing in front of that traffic. Oh my goodness. That's a new one. But the flight pattern is swooping, sporadic, and occasionally it lifts up and its head is kind of up above it, and then it goes back down and swoops down. So really interesting, really different flight pattern. Hilariously, birders have called this the jizz of the bird, J-I-Z-Z. The jizz of the bird, the way it flies, and its behavior overall. It's kind of a nuanced term, and ridiculous, but so are a lot of birding terms, I think. So yeah, I guess you could say the jizz of the bird really got my attention. That means I am the 3rd person over the course of 4 days to see this particular gull. you know, when you think of seals, you think of the ocean or the coast or the inland waterways of the Pacific Northwest, like the Puget Sound. But we have them here in the rivers as well. In fact, there have been a lot of studies calling for a cull of harbor seals because of the amount of salmon in their diet. However, those studies focused on seals living in salmon-rich habitat. So you get a bias, a huge bias. And this is what the state's using to call for a cull. But right here, we have a little seal friend hanging out on the logs. I wrote a 200-page thesis on their distribution in the Sound. All right, back on the boat. So we've got the boom here, and it's gonna go in Rick's truck. I think it'll work out okay. Looks like it's about 12 to 15 feet. I'm not exactly sure. I should know off the top of my head. I've measured it like 5 times, and then that'll be out of the way. Alright, that went about as smoothly as it possibly could go. So now we just got a dirty deck here, which I expected. Alright, definitely don't want to use that as a water fill anymore. Well, it says waste on it, so that'll probably come up and not come back on, because we're going composting for now. Alright, let's get these, the rest of these up and as much of the deck hardware as I possibly can tonight. And now that I'm looking at these in the light, so it was a very silly setup that they had, I think, because all the sealant was around here, right? And these are designed with a channel right here to let water out, because water just goes straight through. So to keep water from collecting underneath, of course they need an outlet for it so that it runs along the tow rail. But they put sealant in the channel, so it just kind of filled up, got into the bolt holes, and of course corroded everything with the stainless bolts on aluminum backing plates. So, you know, I'm glad I'm taking all these off and replacing everything, because it needed to be done more than I thought. Alright, I'm not messing around with these stubborn ones anymore. It's gonna get done now. Yeah, these bolts are definitely stainless because they spark, and they do not get chipped off with a chisel. So I am thinking they are definitely stainless, and the backing plates are definitely aluminum. So let's get it done. All right, we got the first bolt off out of these 4 on this stanchion plate. This is the option I've been not wanting to do, but it works better than what I was doing, sliding that saw underneath. So we're gonna continue doing that for the rest of the bolts, and I'll probably be doing this for the next hour or so. Alright, I think the heat from the grinder actually broke the seal, and I was able to like pry up the last couple bolts after I'd cut the first 2, which is great. If you ever wanted to know what bad copper looks like, this is it. Let me show you. So when copper goes bad, it turns pink, and yeah, if you got pink copper on your boat, that means it's done. It's corroded to heck. So I'll go and recycle this copper, but yeah, it's totally useless as it is now. Well, I guess not totally useless. Again, I don't know why they had like these copper tubes coming through all the stanchions. Everything was sealed up, and it's just another way for things to leak, honestly. Let's see if this comes off. Oh yeah. Look at that. Held on to the corrosion as well. Yeah, definitely stainless bolts through aluminum. Oh my goodness. These will never see the ocean again. I'll probably get recycled if I don't have, if they don't look good inside. I don't know, I might have a use for these little chunks of aluminum at home, so I'll hold on to them, but they're not coming back on the boat, that's for sure. Poor gel coat. Everything's getting repainted. It's fine. Now this one's a little bit more interesting. We'll see what it takes, but if that bolt is also through aluminum, I'm gonna lose my mind. I think it is, because I wasn't able to get it off last night. But today, all of the stanchions are coming off. I promise. Haha! I'm gonna hate myself for saying that, but it's gonna happen. These bolts down here barely, or these screws actually, barely holding on to the stanchions on all of them. Like I can just, they were just finger tight, so whoop, like that. Vibrating motor probably would have worked all those out. So there you go. It's just these posts. Oh my gosh. I think they just had a bunch of scrap aluminum and they just used them for all the backing plates, regardless of what kind of material was going through them. Yeah, I don't know how they treated these different, but the forward stanchion plates were easy to take off relatively, except for this one bolt, which is being really annoying. But generally, these forward ones, the bolts have not been as corroded, so the whole thing comes off easier. Everything aft of here on both sides sucks. So this method of hammering from the bottom, it really only works for these forward ones. Please don't make me cut it. Dang. Woohoo! The head of the last screw. Woohoo!
Some of it cut and some of it broke.
Yeah, there was a giant thing of sealant in the middle here, so basically water could just sit in there forever if it wanted to.
Is it gonna pop out now? Is that part?
Oh, the back of the vacuum plate's gonna pop out, no problem, from the inside. Yeah. All right, we just have a couple more to go. 1, 2 on each side, so 4 left, and I think I can do it before it gets too late. All right, here's the backing plate, and aluminum dust. They use these paper templates, I think, on all of them, which is super weird because the paper just collected water and held water against the aluminum and the stainless. So you double you. Let's check it out. Yes, aluminum powder, and this is this was the bolt that we cut off, and so it shall remain, probably. I'll find something else to do with this aluminum because most of it's okay. So it's still handy to have at home, but it'll never see the sea again. All right, Dan was kind enough to go grab me some dinner from Jack in the Box. I just wanted the 2 tacos. That'll hold me over till till midnight. So I think he's gonna pull up to this little ramp. It's a good spot. It's Dan. That's awesome.
Recently or 20 minutes ago?
I think all Land Rovers look good on the hill. 40 minutes for the 2 tacos?
Yeah, it's like 45 minutes.
Dude, you should have just left. Thanks, man.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
That'll hold me over till midnight. Thanks, Dan. Woohoo! Food! Oh, corrosion lollipop. Amazing. Ah. Yeah, so between the deck and oh, there are washers. I guess the washers are probably spacers for the uneven surface up there. Oh my gosh, but the paper. Oh, well, that's one side done. Just gonna get the last 2 on the other side. You know, it's really cozy in here. I like it. In the port side lass, there's some big caverns though. What is going on in there? Whoa, look at all that space. That's terrifying. What's going on in there? I can't really expand the boat. Yeah, I guess this is the crevice that goes all the way through the boat and where they ran the wires in impossible to reach places. So yeah, I expect this is on the other side as well. I guess all I can really do is keep it aerated because I can't really expand any of the walls on either side, because on the left side you've got the deck, or the outside of the splash guard basically. On the right side you've got the cockpit and the cockpit, and then I guess you could open up from below to go into that space, but it's really just a crevice. Well, I guess that's gonna be the best insulation on the boat, that particular area. Oh, this fiberglass job just needs to be redone. Yeah, and there's some holes in here. There's a lot of fiberglass work that needs to be done back here. I'm not gonna let that distract me from what I'm doing now. I'll fight the ADHD. Get her done. Interesting. So this is the backing plate I just took off, and it was nearest the electronics. So I'm wondering what this wire's for. Is it a grounding wire? Is it a lightning redirection wire? It's a pretty big gauge, so I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, it's bolted to some stainless and aluminum, which is attached to the stanchion. I'm wondering if potentially there was a short or something or whatever, you could electrocute yourself on the stanchion or the lifeline even. That's crazy. Yeah, lots of corrosion. There's this lingering smell in here from like burning sealant, because when I was doing the grinding, it melted some of the sealant, which made some of the bolts easier to take off. But it's a very distinct smell. It's like fireworks. It smells like 4th of July in here. All right, one last stanchion to go. So on the port side, it was fairly easy to get the nuts off and then push some of the bolts through. So I'm hoping for the same luck on the starboard side. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Again, it's gonna have this lollipop of corrosion right there, where they missed the backing plate. Well, that doesn't bode well. Oh no. Alright, we'll see if well, maybe it'll hammer through, I don't know. But yeah, the bolt snapped. It'll probably be fine. I think the order of operations was I took the flathead to the outside, and that broke the sealant and the corrosion, if it can, and then I can hammer it through, maybe. So let's try that. All right, that one's good. That one's broken. This one is not participating as much. Alright, I got one out, which means at most I have to cut one of the bolts because that one's so corroded and stuck in. The last melon. Aha! Sweet! Using the drill to break the bolt is good strategy when you're trying to be quiet. Alright, here we go. Stupid paper. Come on, trusty 7-in-1. Well, there you go. That's the last one. This took way longer than I thought, just for this part. So, next time we're gonna be continuing the take off other hardware from the deck and the tow rail. Because, I mean, this is a pretty convenient place for an outro. Interspersed are these bolts that are also in the tow rail. And they're all rusty. They're all hella rusty. I don't know where that one came from. I think that's a different piece of hardware. It's rusty tow rail stuff. So it all needs to be brought up and replaced with stainless. Thank you to everybody on Patreon for your support. It has been wonderful seeing everybody's support there, and if you'd like to see episodes early and get some stuff from me and giveaways and stuff, check out the Patreon. It's in the description. And I want to thank everybody for watching and everybody for commenting on YouTube. This boat is really coming along. It's just again, I'm stuck into some very time-consuming, very bodily damaging projects at the moment. But I love it, and I love this boat, and it's gonna keep on trucking on until she's sailing, and that will be a wonderful day to see her sailing again. Again, thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.